You are now listening to Sports Talk 916 with Greg Bull and Coach Greg Veroza.
If you'd like to participate in this show and listen live, there's a number of ways to do it. You can go to the Mixlr app, or you can follow us on Facebook Live every Sunday. You can also go on the wildfireradio.com website and listen to us Tuesdays at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. And if you want to contact us, head over to our website at sportstalk916.com. There you'll find all of our social media feeds, bonus after-hours content that you won't hear anywhere else. Well, hello. You know, I always love the way I say .com. It's kind of just a weird thing. It is Sunday. It's not Sunday. It's Saturday. That's how used I am to when we do the show. It's Saturday. This is episode 230 of Sports Talk 916. My name's Coach Greg. Coach Greg Veroza, right there. Mr. Chief, hey. Greg Ball. Didn't say Coach Mr. Chief this time. And we together are the two-headed monsters of Greg that we call ourselves, and we are Sports 9. I'm messed up today. You got me. I can't.
Don't worry about these chips.
I got this thing going on. So I'm on my way over here, and I get a note, a text saying, make sure you get a drink. And I thought he wanted me to pick him something up, but no. It says, obviously you haven't been on Facebook in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and I hadn't. And so I clicked on, and we got this stupid chip thing challenge going on. And I'm stressed because I don't do hot shit. I don't do hot food.
We're not going to start with them.
We might end with them because the next thing you'll see me is run into the shitter.
Let me just, fine. Let me just see. First bite, nothing. Second bite, warm. It's like a 6. Not even a 6. Like a 4. We'll get to that later.
Whatever.
All right, cool. So
we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Episode 230, Christmas episode.
Yep.
Happy Kwanzaa, Christmas, Festivus. Actually, no. Merry Christmas.
That's right.
Fuck this Happy Holidays bullshit. Merry Christmas.
That's right. So how was your week?
It was good. Busy. Family's in town for the holidays, getting ready for Christmas.
I got to hang out with your father-in-law for a little while yesterday.
Yeah, and looking at more houses in
Yeah.
a neighborhood that he wouldn't let us look in when he was looking at houses for us.
He said you guys didn't want to look in there.
I'm pretty sure that we wanted to put an offer in on a house in that exact neighborhood, and he said no. So whatever. But yeah, lots to talk about. We're gonna start off with Are You Kidding Me? We're gonna talk a little bit about the Giants and some moves that they've made. Darryl Strawberry's coming up. Joe Calamaris, don't worry about that. He's coming. Greg does have his old man glasses back on. That is true.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the playoffs, our chips. We'll do our picks for next week. And we'll give you the Jimmy Garoppolo stat of the week heading into Sunday's game. But first, we're going to start with this.
Are you kidding me?
You kidding me? You kidding me, right?
Are you kidding me?
You kidding? You kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You kidding me?
Yeah, it ain't happening.
Kidding me?
I just inhaled it. All right, are you kidding me?
Ain't happening.
I don't
Are
know
you
if
kidding me?
I don't know if you saw the story or not, but well, you already told me you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Toiletgate. Charlie Villanueva.
Is he still in the league?
No.
I didn't think so.
Last week got his house broken into.
Oh, okay.
Went through everything. Was going through. Called the cops. 2.5 hours later, the cops still weren't there, so he continued to walk through his house. They stole his toilet. Right off the wall. Took the plumbing and all. Left the plumbing in the wall. Stole his toilet. At what point?
His toilet.
Here's a photo of it. Toilet's gone. just straight gone. Now, I know that a lot of former athletes or athletes while they're athletes or vice versa kind of go to the extreme when it comes to their furnishings, and
Right.
They always want things to be lavish, right?
Right.
At what point does someone break into a house and they stop looking for jewelry and electronics or money, pass by the bathroom, and they go, damn, that's a nice shitter. We're taking that
Was
motherfucker.
it gold plated?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he?
It had to have been.
Is he shitting into a fucking gold throne?
Diamond studded shitter.
I saw that and I was like, that's a perfect way to kick off our show because usually our shows are shitty. So if we
And we spend a lot of time on the shitter.
yeah,
so.
we're professionals.
I
But,
just got a new shitter too in my house.
Nice.
I didn't steal it from Charlie Villanueva's house.
right? Is it a bidet?
It is not a bidet. First time I ever saw one of those, I was house sitting. I had no fucking idea what it was.
Did you get sprayed by it? And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, pretty much.
No
idea.
Great, I broke the toilet.
No
Wonderful.
idea.
Broke the
I
toilet.
thought it was a drinking fountain at first, but I never took a drink out of it.
That's awesome.
You know, like the drinking fountains in elementary school.
Yep.
Kind of like that, but no, I didn't.
TJ, if they ever catch who broke into his house, I will tell you who stole the toilet. No idea.
That wasn't me.
Nope.
And by the way, fuck you, James. You have old man glasses too.
Oh, that's funny. Old man talk.
Yeah, whatever.
The Giants finally did something. The Giants finally, we talked about last week, they got rid of Matty Moore.
Yep.
And they made another move this week.
Yep.
They acquired Evan Longoria from the Tampa Bay Rays. 3-time Gold Glover, 3-time All-Star.
I wish they would have gotten his sister.
Evan Longoria? I don't think they're related.
They're not. I heard that about 3 times though. So
Yeah, and then, countless idiots on Twitter were like, oh, congratulations, you guys got a new pitcher. And it was her throwing out a first pitch somewhere.
yeah,
It's like, shut up.
I'd take her though.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Dude, I'm old.
That's
I'll
true.
take pretty much anything.
Right. I'm not going to make a comment on that. But they gave up Christian Arroyo, Denard Span, and 2 pitching prospects for him. And a lot of people are upset about the Christian Arroyo deal, right? They're like, oh, well, why are we giving up Christian Arroyo? What are we going to talk about? What are we going to do about the future? He could have been a potential Gold Glover. He could have been a potential batting title champion. Here's the deal.
The key word in there is potential.
Or could have been, yeah. We got to cover Arroyo a few times at Rayleigh Field.
Yeah.
We got to watch him in batting practice and, in warm-ups, play on the field. And sure, the potential is there. But I'll tell you this, the AAA baseball player that we watched and the player aside from the first, 5 games in Major League Baseball was not the same guy.
No.
Christian Arroyo, in any capacity right now, I do not feel is ready for Major League Baseball. He got shook. He had that quick flash of success, and then
The first 6 days he was in the league.
and it got to him, and then all of a sudden, gone, and then he got hurt, and then he got hurt again. I hate to use this name, but because it's on a much different scale, but it reminds me of another Bay Area player who was a flash in the pan, got figured out by the rest of the opposition, and then disappeared.
Kaepernick?
Yes. And
That's a stretch.
It is.
That's a
but
stretch.
It
That's
was
a big
one of those
stretch.
things where they took a very small sample size, went ape shit over him because he's so good at this, and then defenses and opposition figured him out, and it changed. The Arroyo thing happened on a much quicker scale, but it was a matter of finding his weakness, and he didn't adapt to it.
Well, there's a lot of guys.
What about Yoenis Cespedes early on?
Well, you're too young for this, but Matt Williams, when Matt Williams came up, he was basically the Christian Arroyo of the late 80s, early 80s. I don't know, whenever he came up, late 80s. Came up, first 2 weeks was just crushing things, and then went into a huge tailspin. And after sending him down, he got everything straight and came back, and
it was amazing.
It was amazing. So that's kind of where I thought Arroyo would head to. Here's the thing, though. Giants fans don't want to go through rebuilding. They don't. They want to be back in the race. And what you're doing is you're trading somebody's potential for somebody who is established.
Yep.
And that position is way too important to trust somebody who's just trying to establish themselves and trying to work into their potential for the Giants fans' perspective.
Establish himself or find himself?
Well, find himself. And even for the Giants, because they talked about all week this week about we need to get back into the race. We need to be one of the 4 teams in the National League that are vying for the pennant. And when you bring in Longoria, you have a known quantity in there.
Who?
Longoria.
You said Longoria.
Oh, whatever. You know who I meant.
I know.
When you bring him in, you have a known quantity. You know that you're going to get 20-plus home runs. You know you're going to get right around a 300 batting average. You know you're going to get – might not have the same glove that Arroyo has, but it's a pretty damn good glove. And I would put – you add Posey and the rest of the infield in there. I'd put that infield up against anyone in the major leagues.
Yeah, you put if you have Longoria, Crawford, Panic, Belt, and Posey on your infield, along with throw whatever pitchers in is out there. There's not many infields in Major League Baseball that would rival that at all.
Right.
In fact, I don't know that there is one, like you said. They're just that good. And when they're healthy, that is, because, obviously Belt can't stay on the field. Panic's, hopefully will stay on the field this year. Crawford's been the iron horse. I mean, Longoria, though, you're getting consistency with him.
Right.
Since 2013, he's missed 18 games.
Right.
He's been on the DL one time, and in the last 4 seasons, he's played 157 games or more.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that with anybody else on the Giants in the Giants system.
No.
And that's including Pence, Posey, everyone. They all took more games off than Longoria has.
Well, and they were at one point they were all hurt too,
Right.
so they all missed something. So, I think this is a great move, and I we talk about the number of Giants fans that are upset that we lost Arroyo. I would imagine it's probably 10-1 in favor of the trade as opposed to those that are
Right.
against it.
And like
So-
TJ said, Longoria was a third base Gold Glove winner last season.
Yeah, so he's got the glove, so it's going to be interesting. Now they have to work on a couple outfield spots.
So speaking of that, the Giants have formally reached out to Jay Bruce. They're in the early stages of it. Jay Bruce's agent was actually on KMBR earlier this week, the same day they made the Longoria deal, and basically said that he would be ecstatic to come to San Francisco. There's mutual interest.
Good.
If a deal happened, he would be extremely happy about it. And the Giants officially reached out to him. It may be obviously more cost effective than a few other options that are out there. He is a big bat. He hit, plenty of home runs last season, plenty of RBIs, way more than anyone else on the Giants roster.
Yep.
And he helps solidify an outfield. Now, he can't play center field though. So, I would imagine that sticks him in left. Right now you have Pence in right because they haven't gone out and get anyone else unless you put Bruce in right, and then you have a platoon in left with Parker.
I don't know.
someone
Right
else,
field's a
Pence.
hard field in AT&T to play.
Yeah, and as goofy as he is, Hunter Pence plays it very well.
He does.
If he could find his bat, there's no reason to put Hunter Pence on that fourth outfielder if he's hitting the ball. But the good thing is if he slumps like he did last year, he's okay with the fact that he may be that fourth outfielder.
Right. And, up until the last couple of years, he was pretty durable. So if he could get himself to be 100% healthy.
Siding Jared Dyson for center field, says James. I'm good with Dyson. I like
Yeah,
Dyson.
yeah.
The other option, though, if you do get Bruce, is you still have the interest in going after Andrew McCutchen for center
I like
field.
that, and I like that a lot.
Can you imagine you have Bruce, McCutchen, and
Anybody
else?
Yeah.
That shorts it up really well out there. I tried tweeting Palkovich and Schulman and a few other of the Giants beat writers to see how far along Helio Ramos is, because he's a name you hear about, but you haven't heard much about where he really is.
Well, he's young. He's only 19, I think.
Yeah, but some of those 19-year-old Venezuelan kids that are actually 33 are really good.
But I heard he's definitely a strong 5-tool player. And he dominated the rookie league or whatever lower level Class A league that he was in last year. So they have plans for him, but I think they're gun shy right now.
I do too.
I think they're gun shy. They've had all these major prospects, and they've dudded out. They've dudded out big time. So hopefully, they'll be a little bit more patient with him and let him grow into the spot. And then by the time he's 22, 23, you got your outfielder of the future. I
love when TJ does this. So TJ, he always has this, like, I don't know if it's a conspiracy or he's just on top of things. He has again confirmed that you cannot get a Giants Andrew McCutchen jersey customized.
Really?
When that happened a couple years ago, that chip was hotter than fuck, by the way.
Yeah.
That happened a couple years ago with another player.
I'm going to take the fudge brownie
route
challenge. Yeah.
That happened with a couple other players. Right around trade time, and they're like, oh, it's going to happen. No, it's not. Well, you can't make his jersey. And all of a sudden, boom, he gets traded. So, I'm all for it. I mean, we can get McCutchen here. Great. I'm good with that. If Ramos is the option and he comes through, mid-year as a late season call-up and he lights a fire, great.
From what I've heard, that's not even an option. They're not even thinking about that.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. But then again, the other options right now are so thin. You have Jared Parker. You have Mac Williamson. You have, what's his name? Gorkys Hernandez, who TJ loves.
Ugh.
With all due respect, though, Gorkys did look like a Major League Baseball player toward the end of the year. He finally started to figure it out.
Beginning of the year, he was horrible.
He was like me playing center field. It was bad. But yeah, if you can get Jared Dyson, if you can get Andrew McCutchen, if you can, and real quick before we get too far away from this, I'm gonna pump the brakes on everyone that's getting all jazzed up about the fact that Jacoby Ellsbury said that he'd be willing to waive his no trade clause to San Francisco. Cool. The Giants, if they make a trade with Jacoby Ellsbury and his bloated contract and his lackluster performance, I will be so pissed.
I don't think they will.
I would be so pissed.
I heard Sabian on KMBR over the weekend or last week, and I have a feeling that he's kind of stepping in and taking over.
I don't
really
know about
do.
Taking over, but I think he has a very, very, very big, very, very big presence in what's going on right now.
Right.
So
I thought you were getting the football game on.
It won't load. So I mean, right now it's 0-0 with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. Baltimore has the ball in the red zone. If they throw the ball to Mike Wallace, I'll be happy because I'm in the championship game for our fantasy league. Ended up beating our first place guy last week.
I saw that. And I outscored all of you guys last week.
For nothing.
For nothing.
Yep. So the Giants are making moves. It's hopefully going to come through. He has a finger in the pie for sure, talking about Brian Sabian. I'm happy with it. I mean, they're finally doing something. Sure, it took them a little long. It reminds me of Vlade Divac having a flip phone and not knowing that free agency started last season.
Yeah, but, there really hasn't been a whole lot of movement anywhere.
No, baseball's been... I think everyone kind of got scared away by what happened with Stanton. It was just so aggressive, and they're like, fuck, do we really want to, risk blowing everything up for one player or two players?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of movement.
JD Martinez's name has not been mentioned once.
I've heard it a couple times.
What's his name? Jake Arrieta? I haven't heard one thing about him.
I haven't heard anything about him.
There's a lot of players out there right now that are they're just floating heads with nothing attached to them at all.
Yep.
But let's talk about someone, former outfielder, former Big Bat. Used to play for the
Big Bat. That's the key word, Big Bat.
Right. Used to play for a number of teams.
Listen up, Joe Calamars.
But he did play for primarily, or most famously, for the New York Mets
and Yankees.
And the Yankees. But Darryl Strawberry, who has always been an admitted person with an addiction problem, whether it was cocaine with what's his name with Dwight Gooden, whether it was alcohol, whatever it was, including sex addiction. He was on Dr. Oz last week and admitted that in the late 80s, early 90s, at the peak of his sexual addiction,
at the climax of his sexual addiction,
right at the breaking point, between innings, would go into the clubhouse. He would have 4 or 5 girls partying in the clubhouse during the game. He would go in there and real quick get his rocks off. hit it with a couple chicks multiple times during the games.
Okay, so this brings up a lot of questions.
Let's go because we have 40 minutes to cover.
So, what happens if it's a quick 1-2-3 inning?
He better be a 1-2-3 chump.
Right? Baseball pants are not really those type of garments that you can hide a lot of stuff.
Unless he's wearing his cup, just tuck that bad boy in there and just let it go away real quick.
I'm going stereotypes here now. That would have to be a big damn cup.
He's got like a waste paper basket in his pants.
More power to him if he could get away with it.
He could have just been going in there with a half wet rope, getting it in, getting a feel, getting out.
Could have been
just enough to get those endorphins flowing. Yeah, players.
And then what happens if he comes to bat at the game? If he's up to bat in the locker room. Hey, you're up right now. Go.
Well, I don't think he would go in if he was. They have TVs in the clubhouse. I'm sure he had an eye on what was going on, and if he was like in the hole, no pun intended, if he was third in the inning, I don't think he was running in and getting his shit off real quick before it was time for him to be at a bat. But is that not enough motivation just to hit a quick home run, get back in the dugout, go back in the locker room, celebrate,
and then hit a home run?
Yeah, and then hit a walk off.
Wow, that's kind of before drop the mic, but that's kind of a double drop the mic in one inning.
Man,
wonder what the bat flip is like with that.
Right. He also said that his teammates would cover for him.
How do you cover for him? They start screaming uncontrollably.
Daryl! They're just all yelling down the hallway because someone's coming. No, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like to be a fly on the wall. Or I
don't want to be a fly on the wall.
To have the conversation like with the teammates, like, hey, I'm going to go in there. Veronica's really looking good today. I'm going to bring her in. Oh, another part of it. He said that he would be out on the field playing the game, or he'd be running out through the field, to take right field out there at Citi Field or wherever they were playing. Shea Stadium, that's what I meant. And he would scan the stadium for potential chicks he wanted to nail, flag down in the half innings or like whatever the clubhouse attendants. They would go up and get the girls for him and bring them into the clubhouse, and then they would just wait. He'd go in and talk to him, maybe try to butter him up a little bit before the inning. Next inning, go in like, hey, just drop your pants because I'm coming. I have 3 minutes. Let's go.
That's when it pays to be a 30-second dude.
Right, and that was apparently like a regular thing, like on the road and at home. He would just pinpoint chicks in the crowd. Wow. Probably give him a little line of blow. They give him a blow. Back in hitting home runs. I would love if he had like a photographic memory. Like a very, very, very photographic memory to the point where he can be like, you know what, in Shea Stadium in March of whatever, I nailed it with 4 chicks that game. And then look at his stat line and be like, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. 4 home run game. How many girls do you have in there that inning?
Yeah,
you
right.
Know what I mean? And like kind of correlate it to
performance on the field and versus performance off the field.
Now, does he get a performance enhancing drug asterisk for that one? Because
I don't know.
Those endorphins maybe go.
Does he get a Silver Slugger award?
He might get a Golden Slugger award. But like think about it though. Like if that would be something he could go back and account for. Okay, yeah, you know what? We were on this road trip. All the bitches in Baltimore were trash. I didn't even want them. I went 0 for 16 with 15 strikeouts that series. But then we got to Chicago. Whew. Man, I hit 17 home runs and 14 at-bats. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would love for him to come out and be like, I kept a log. I had a personal log of all the chicks and all my home runs that I hit. And then also about how many times I hit a home run in a baseball game too. Just keep it going. That would be the best thing ever. So on that note, we're going to hear from your commercial, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about something else. We'll figure it out.
For all of your real estate needs in Sacramento area, Northern California, and across the country, give me a call. 916-223-6688. It's Greg Veroza from Keller Williams Realty. If you're out of the area, I know people all over the country that can help you out. So give me a call, 916-223-6688. Or you can go to my website, gregveroza.com.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not here to get back in the presidential race. But you never know. I could be swayed. America needs me. Okay, now it's time for the most luxurious, amazing, incredible picture in the world. Mine. I'll take the Ravens to top the Bengals, even though that doesn't make sense because cats eat birds. I'll also take the Rams to beat the Seahawks, but who really cares? My upset pick is the Eagles to beat the Giants, and my wild card is the Bills to sink the Dolphins.
Just kidding. We're not doing picks yet. Well, we have to do our picks for next week because we're not going to be here tomorrow to talk about them. Yeah, we're doing a blind pick. Blind picks. And we always leave them up for interpretation, right? We can always change our picks. Half the time
I don't even go back and look at my notes.
Yeah, me neither. I just go through, or I'll go through and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I don't like that idea. So I change it. Week 16 is this week. It's a game going on right now.
17.
Right. No, this is 16 now.
I know. 17 next week.
And that's the last week of the season.
Yeah.
Let's do. Well, we shorted everybody.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not here to get
cut out
back
the
in the presidential race. But you never know. I could be swayed. America needs me. Okay, now it's time for the most luxurious, amazing, incredible picture in the world. Mine. I'll take the Ravens to top the Bengals, even though that doesn't make sense because cats eat birds.
What's that?
I like these
I'll
chips.
also take the Rams to beat the Seahawks, but who really cares? My upset pick is the Eagles to beat the Giants, and my wild card is the Bills to sink the Dolphins.
All right, boys, you heard his picks. Now it's your turn. Greg B, who you got? All right, week 17. Final week of picks. I mean, we'll do playoff picks as well, just to have fun with it. But final regular season. First game, there is no Thursday name. There's
Hold on. Go ahead.
There's no Thursday. There's no Saturday. Next week, all Sundays and Mondays.
No, all Sundays.
There's no Monday. All Sundays next week. Christmas Eve.
By the way, who's got a 3-game lead over everybody?
You do. Carolina at Atlanta.
Carolina at Atlanta. I'm going to go Atlanta.
I'm going to go with Atlanta also. Bengals at Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah, you can't trust the Bengals for anything at this point. Jacksonville at Tennessee.
Hold on. Jacksonville.
Saints at Bucks.
I'm going to go Saints.
Okay. Now, this one's interesting because...
Wait, who are you? Are you taking the same people?
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints. This game's going to be interesting because the Steelers are literally going to rest everybody. They already have it locked up for the number 2 seed. They're not going to play... I can't imagine that they play anybody more than the first quarter. And that's Cleveland at St. Louis or at Pittsburgh.
Well, I still think Cleveland's gonna notch a win this week. So, where's it at?
Pittsburgh.
I'm still gonna go Pittsburgh.
So am I. Green Bay is at Detroit. That could have playoff implications for Detroit on the line.
I'm gonna go Green Bay.
I'm gonna take Detroit in that game. The Texans go to the Colts.
Ugh. What a drudgery of a game.
Taking
I'll go
the
Colts.
Texans. Ooh, we got a mismatch there. Bills at Dolphins. That could be a playoff implication game as well.
I'm going to go Bills.
I'm going to go with Miami. The Bears go to the Vikings, another team that could be resting literally everybody.
I'm going to go Bears.
I'm going to go with Minnesota still because I think Teddy Bridgewater will start that game if they're resting everybody.
Good point.
Because Bridgewater came in at the end of last week's game during the blowout.
Did he?
He came in for the final series, and that place went ape shit.
Okay, I'm officially changing my pick.
To Minnesota?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have said anything because I need more picks to go through. Jets, Pats. Another team that's going to be probably resting everybody.
I'm going to go Pats, though.
Who's their backup now?
What's his face? The Niners quarterback.
Oh, God. Hoyer?
Yeah.
Nope, I'm going the Jets.
But he plays well there.
I don't give a
He
fuck.
plays well in New England.
I don't give a fuck.
He's not even the same guy.
Yeah, put JT O'Sullivan out there.
God, where did that come from?
But I like Hoyer about as much as I like JT O'Sullivan, and he's from Sacramento.
And he's like 50.
And he sucks dick. Daryl Strawberry dick.
Wow.
Oh, these chips are getting me fired up. Woo. Redskins at Giants. Could be Eli Manning's final home game in New York.
I'm going to go Giants.
I'm going to go Washington. They spoil that home game. Eagles host the Cowboys.
So, do the Eagles rest everybody?
I don't think so. I think they take another game to get Foles.
Yeah, that's
Now,
what I
that
think,
depends. If Foles throws up 7 touchdowns again against Oakland like he did last time he played them, I think Foles is fine. If he comes out and has
I can smell those chips.
If he comes out right tonight and has a struggle game, or on Monday night and has a struggle, they play him because they need him primed for the playoffs.
I'm gonna go Eagles.
I'm gonna go Dallas in that game. The Raiders go to the Chargers. Chargers will have playoff implications.
Chargers.
I think Oakland plays spoiler, and it's just the way of the Charger at that point.
Yeah, I think the Raiders are going to give up. I think they're going to quit. I think they've already quit on everybody, and I don't think they're. I think they're just going to be figuring out where they're going on vacation.
There you go. Chiefs, Broncos. That game's going to matter everything to the Chiefs if San Diego's still in it.
I'm going Chiefs.
So am I. Niners at Rams.
I'm going Rams.
You know what? I'm going to take... The Niners always seem to find a way to beat the Rams the last week of the season.
They do, but...
The Rams have playoff hopes.
Rams have playoff hopes.
And Jimmy G's in a play spoiler.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Rams.
Cardinals at Seahawks.
I think that's another team that's given up.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm still going to pick them, but...
I'm taking Arizona.
I'm taking Seahawks, but I think they've given up.
All right. So there's that. So let's do this real quick. Let's revert back a little bit, and Mike Wallace didn't get a touchdown. That's cool. Thanks for that. Let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo real quick before we talk about the playoffs.
Okay.
Interesting stat about Jimmy G. Let me see if I can pull it up. Actually, while I pull it up, let's listen to Tony's hitter. Hey guys, I'm excited to announce a new partnership with Antonio Pacheco from Folsom Lake Ford. Tony has been my go-to sales guy for a number of years, and he's come on board to bring the awesome sales buying experience to each and every one of you. All of his information is on our website at sportstalk916.com, but if you're in a hurry and you're looking for a new car, give him a call today. Antonio Pacheco, area code 530-218-7069. He will answer all of your questions in regards to the car buying experience, and he is the main guy that I trust in the Sacramento area for all of your car buying needs. Again, Antonio Pacheco, Folsom Lake Ford, 530-218-7069. All right, now let me preface this with I'm not putting Garoppolo on the same level of these next two gentlemen yet. But
he's played 5 games.
But he has done something that should excite Niner fans.
He completed a pass?
Right. That's it. Thanks. Moving on. Garoppolo, in his first 3 starts with the 49ers,
Okay.
has 1,008 yards passing in his first 3 starts. That is more than Joe Montana and Steve Young combined in their first 3 starts as 49ers.
Wow.
Montana had 488. Young had 470 total in their first 3 starts. Garoppolo is over those guys by himself in his first 3. Now, like I said,
Yeah,
that's
how much do you attribute that to the differences in the game too? You know,
both of those guys had somebody by the name of Jerry Rice.
No, not in his first game,
Montana did, I'm sorry, but Young did. Young had Rice, McCaffrey, Stokes wasn't there. He had McCaffrey, he had He had Brent Jones his first start. He had a lot more weapons than Garoppolo has.
Yeah.
But you could also touch wide receivers back then.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Like I said, I'm not putting him on the same level, but as 49er fans looking at the future, it's definitely something that should get you a little bit excited because we haven't had a quarterback technically since Steve Young. I mean, Alex Smith did okay, Jeff Garcia did okay, but we haven't had that quarterback that hits you in the feel goods in a long time.
The Darryl Strawberries?
Yeah, they hit you right in the strawberries.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm definitely a lot more on the Jimmy G bandwagon than I was after the first couple of starts, just because he's now proven it over 3 games. But still, I need to see him for a whole season. I need to see him with an off season where he's got full grasp of the thing. And I don't know if we talked about this last week, but did you see that video of him mic'd up at the game?
Yeah.
Where he completes a pass, just kind of trots down, yells out one number, gets everybody set up. And what I noticed even before is the 3 people that caught passes on that final drive, he had talked to him before they had gone in, going, okay, if you get this, make this move and go this way, and I'll hit you right after the cut. And that's the kind of stuff that I don't think that we've been seeing in the last 10 years from any of these quarterbacks, because I don't think they're that advanced of a quarterback.
And a lot of that has to do with him learning behind Tom Brady.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, those are things that Montana would do. Those are things that Young would do. So in that sense, he's more of a well-rounded quarterback. He knows what he's doing, and that's what gives me the sense of
the strawberry tingles.
Yeah, the strawberry tingles for next year, because I think that it could be good.
You know what makes me most excited about next year? What have we talked about every single episode that we've done when we talk about the 49ers before Jimmy Garoppolo? We talked about
we need a quarterback.
We need a quarterback in the draft. We're going to have to move back to get another pick, to get another quarterback, yada, yada, yada. We don't have to do that anymore.
No.
The Niners have their quarterback, which means let's say they get the 4th pick.
And you know what? They have a backup, too.
Yeah, in Bethard. Bethard. In C.J. Bethard. They don't have to trade out of the 4th or 5th pick now. They can take an O-lineman. They can take a big wide receiver or running back. They don't have to have the pressure to compile more picks, because let's be real. If they were, let's say 2, and let's say the Giants behind them needed a quarterback because they're going to ship out Eli and they're sure as hell not playing Geno Smith, they're going to try to get 3 or 4 to the Niners plus an extra first-round pick. Well, chances are the Niners wanted that second first-round pick to grab another quarterback. Right? You don't have to give up that leverage now.
No.
And now, if they do give up that pick to move back a couple spots, they're going to have to get blown away, because now teams know the Niners don't have to move back. They don't have that urgency. Now a GM's going to have to call them and be like, look, we know you're short up at 4 or 5. We know what you want to do. We need to move up on you. What's it going to take?
Right.
It's not going to be, we know you want more picks. Here's what we're giving you. It's, what is it going to take for you now to give us this pick?
Right.
And that puts John Lynch at a huge advantage.
Right.
So I'm actually excited about it. I mean, I was excited about last year's draft when Lynch came in, but now I'm really excited because it's always so scary when your team takes a quarterback early, because wide receivers, they may take a little bit of time to develop, but then they turn into like a Dez Bryant, right? He started off slow, kind of an a-hole to everybody, but now you'd kill to have him on your squad. Running backs, you pretty much know what you're going to get, like Ezekiel Elliott, right?
This year's draft's going to be hugely deep with running backs
and wide receivers.
Well, I'd say the running backs are going to be deeper, because they're
like Darryl Strawberry, balls deep.
Yeah.
No, but like it's always those ones. If a player you draft in like the the first couple picks, or perfect example for the Niners last year, Eric Armstead, this year Solomon Thomas. If they start out slow, you're not really that concerned, right? They're going to figure it out. If you take a quarterback, you literally put all of your nuts in one basket. Yeah. And that is like one of the biggest, fear factors, I guess you could say, when it comes to being a fan. What the hell is my team going to do if this guy doesn't work out? we're going to have to suffer for a whole season. We're going to have to do this all over again. We're still not going to rebuild. It's going to be tough. So I'm excited about that. The other thing that I'm super excited about is, did you see the report? I don't remember who reported it on Twitter. I retweeted it, but I don't know if you're paying attention on Twitter very much these days. One of the reporters on NFL Network got a text from an agent, and they're calling him anonymous because his player is still under contract with another team. But this agent, and they're saying that this wide receiver is a top 5 wide receiver free agent next season. And I'll pull up the top 5 wide receivers, and we'll, on a non-winning team, or I'm sorry, on a
contending team?
No, not even that. A let's say a non-NFC team. I'll give you that.
Okay, so an AFC team.
Right. No, that's not even how I want to put it. Let's just say it's someone their team doesn't play San Francisco very often.
Okay.
We'll just put it that way. Wide receiver free agent. So this agent got a text from his wide receiver that basically said, what's the weather like in San Francisco during the offseason? Okay.
Cold as hell.
Right, but what's the plane weather like in San Francisco? Is what it was.
Right.
So that leads me to believe it wasn't a wide receiver from Seattle or the Rams, because obviously they go to San Francisco quite often, right? Well, if those wide receivers are already reaching out to their agents in week 15, asking about San Francisco as a possible destination because of what's happening with Jimmy Garoppolo, that's a big positive, because they're already on the radar. They're already looking at it going, I might need to make an early phone call.
Right.
And set up an early meeting with John Lynch.
And they're going to have plenty of money to spend.
Even if they have to franchise tag
they're
Garoppolo,
they're going to
have a fucking truckload of
money. So that goes back to what I talked about last week is you need to get a running back in the draft, and you're going to get your wide receiver through free agency because they're already going to be established. So the running back class is at least 7 or 8 deep. And I watched a little bit of the pregame stuff for the San Diego State.
Okay.
And the kid that they have, the running back for San Diego State, has now, I think his last 5 games has rushed for over 200 yards and would have been a top 3 finalist for the Heisman had San Diego State not lost a couple games in the middle of the year.
It's crazy. Yeah, and like you said, get the wide receivers out of the free agency.
Absolutely.
Get an established one that can instantly build rapport with Garoppolo.
Right.
But so here's a list of the top 11 free agent wide receivers, and a few of them we can rule out right away because they play the Niners twice a year, and we know that they're not the ones questioning what it's like in San Francisco. So John Brown plays for Arizona. Obviously, he should know. Martavius Bryant, who I would hope it's not him.
Yeah, I don't think it will be.
Devontae Adams in Green Bay.
Could be.
Dontrell Inman, the Bears' young wide receiver. I don't.
But
think
he's not a
there.
top 5
No.
receiver.
Taylor Gabriel from Atlanta.
Not a top 5 receiver.
I'm just going through. Terrell Pryor.
He played in Oakland, so he knows.
Right. Sammy Watkins plays for the Rams.
Yeah, but he's only played there 1 year, so
Right.
he's in Buffalo.
Jarvis Landry,
That could be.
which I'd be hella happy about. Allen Robinson for the Jags.
Nah.
And the other one, I don't know if it's going to have him on. No, it doesn't have him on here. But he's not playing. He's not playing in San Francisco next week because he's hurt, or this weekend because he's hurt. But Marquise Lee of the Jaguars, their number 1 wide receiver, is a free agent coming up this year as well. Any one of those big name guys, hell, if we can get like Marquise Lee or even Gabriel.
Yeah.
Getting Gabriel back under Kyle Shanahan's system with a quarterback that can throw him the ball.
See, I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of those guys that have played for Shanahan in the past
that want back.
that are going to want back because now they'll have a quarterback that, even when they were in Washington, they didn't really have a quarterback.
You mean Shanahan and Hoyer's not an attractive bargaining chip? You said he plays well in Baltimore or in New England, right? I mean, fuck.
Well, everybody plays good in New England, though, too.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. The playoffs are coming. Who, with Wentz out and with Brown potentially hurt in Pittsburgh, Who do you feel right now is the lock for or not the lock? I should say your top team.
Well, we never did go over the NFC.
Right? We did kind
Maybe
of.
we should let's go over the NFC playoffs first, and then we'll
Right,
go for
NFC playoff picture. Why does it show me a picture of Andy Dalton? I don't think that's the right. Here's some clinching situations here. So, Patriots, who's already in the playoffs and how they get there. So we already know the NFC, the champions are the Patriots, the Vikings, the Jaguars, and the Steelers and the Eagles.
Yeah.
So I fucking hate the way that these websites break down these damn playoff pictures.
Just give the standings.
Don't fucking talk to me like that, Verosa.
I don't need to take that from you, bitch.
You want to fight?
Yeah.
Want to eat a chip? Wow. So the NFC East right now, the Eagles have it locked up. The Vikings have it locked up. And then all three divisions except for the West in the AFC are locked up. Patriots, Steelers, Jaguars.
So it sounds like the West and
Southwest in the NFC, and then the West in the AFC is still up for grabs.
So South should be what, Carolina?
It's Carolina and the Saints both tied 10-4.
Okay.
Falcons are there at 9-5. And then the Rams are 10-4. Unless they have a meltdown these next 2 weeks, the Seahawks are 8-6. I don't see the Seahawks sneaking in.
No. So it sounds to me like it's going to be the Rams, and then the three teams from the South will get in.
You mean the two teams from the South?
Well, the three, counting.
Yeah, the Falcons, Panthers, and Saints.
Yeah.
Yes. Because the Seahawks are 8-6. The Lions are still in it too, 8-6. The Cowboys are a far shot away from 8-6. So with those teams, let's just start with, how should I say this? Let's be realistic.
Okay.
It's likely gonna be one of the 5 teams that are already locked up that are gonna be a favorite because they've already dominated the season, right?
Probably.
So in the AFC, we have the Patriots, the Steelers, the Jaguars that are locked. Because honestly, whether it's the Chargers or the Chiefs, I don't see either one of them knocking off those other 3. Not yet.
Not yet.
And then
I think the one team that could stand a chance are the Chiefs, because if they get hot,
right,
they're unstoppable on offense.
Right.
And if their defense can play, they've just been real inconsistent, but they've shown flashes of just nobody can stop them.
But if we look at AFC wildcard, it's going to either be the Bills, Ravens, or the Bills, Ravens, Titans, or Chiefs, Chargers. Again, none of those guys I don't think right now are even are a contender. It's going to come down, in my opinion, to the Patriots or a healthy Steelers team.
Yes.
Now, do you give Jacksonville any shot at either one of those two teams? I mean, their defense is so good. And if
the key is going to be how well their offensive line plays,
let me
against
give you
either one of those.
Let me
teams.
give you a different scenario. Let's say it could be either one. Insert Steelers or Patriots. It doesn't matter who it is. One of those teams is going to have home field advantage, right? Both of those teams play in extremely cold, volatile areas in playoff time, January.
Right.
If there's a snow game in the playoffs, in a championship game, where the passing game is virtually removed, doesn't that give the advantage to Jacksonville in that run defense? Because they play in Florida too, so they're not usually used to playing in
their
snow games. Defense, I think, is so good. Their secondary is amazing, and if you can bring them to the line and not have to worry about the threat of a really deep ball in the snow, and you let that run defense clamp down, and then you get Leonard Fournette out there running like a truck.
The way it's going to break down, the chances are likely that it's going to be Jacksonville and Pittsburgh, because Jacksonville's not going to be the 4th seed, and the 4th seed would play New England, the 1 seed. So it's most likely going to end up being Pittsburgh and Jacksonville, the 2-3 seeds that second weekend. So, with Pittsburgh not being healthy, it depends on how much Brown can recover from that that partially
Calf,
torn
yeah.
calf. In that scenario, I can see Jacksonville winning. But
TJ for sure.
But it's going to come back down to how their offensive line plays to give Bortles time to throw and to give them a chance to run. Offensively, their defense could shut everybody down, but Pittsburgh conceivably could shut Jacksonville's down. I mean, you could have a 14-10 game
in the season right now. Though I don't think in the AFC there's a quarterback right now that's playing better football with a bigger chip on his shoulder to prove everybody wrong than Blake Bortles.
Right.
You put that with that defense. You have a healthy Allen Robinson. You have a healthy what did I say his name was? He was not playing against the Niners this week. Whatever his name is. But you have a healthy Fournette. That team, you have Allen Hurns out there. That team, I'm taking Jacksonville as my AFC team this year.
You think they can beat New England at New England?
Yes. I really think they can.
I think
because
the more and more I think about it, I think that's going to be that has a great shot of being the NFC Championship game.
You take out Brady from the equation because obviously Brady's going to show up and he's going to be amazing. But Amendola hasn't done shit this year. Chris Hogan's been hurt. He was their hero last year. He's been hurt most of the year. You have Gronk, which obviously is a huge factor. Their running back situation, Burkhead's out this week with an injury, who's been really good for him. But then you have Dion Lewis and you have the other dude.
Okay, let me stop you right there. You could have said that last year. You could have said that the year before.
But
you could have said the same.
They're worse on offense this year.
You can say the same
Marquise
thing.
Lee, thank you, James.
You can say the same thing every year about the Patriots because every year they look like in week 14, 15, and 16 of holy shit, they're going to be done.
I'm not saying
too hurt.
Done.
Well, but you can
saying,
say this every year, and all of a sudden somebody else steps up when it comes to the playoffs and they make a run.
But
so I'm not going to even think about it. The Super Bowl is going to have to go through New England, and New England's going to give them a game, and they're going to have an off day to lose.
And I'm taking Jacksonville to do it.
Okay.
NFC. Well, who's your AFC pick?
I'm going to go New England. As much as it pains me, I'm going to go New England.
Yeah, it's not as bad as if you were to say like the Cowboys, right? NFC. It's presumably, NFC is not as cut and dry. I don't think it's going to be one of the division winners necessarily there because there's so many good teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
The NFC in the NFL, we have 7 minutes left, is the Western Conference in the NBA. They're stacked. There's a lot more teams, and obviously it's a smaller picture, but there's a lot more teams that are better in the West or in the NFC than there are in the AFC overall.
Right.
So you have the Eagles, who was everybody's pretty much lock this year.
If Wentz stays healthy, they're a lock.
Right, but now they're led by Nick Foles, so that puts a big question mark there.
He puts I wouldn't say a big question mark.
It puts a little size 11 font question mark, but you're supposed to be writing in 9. The Vikings, Case Keenum is on fire. They're going to be really hard to beat, especially if they get home field advantage. They get to play in their dome the rest of the season, which they don't play in a dome anymore, do they? No, it's a dome.
No, it's not.
No?
I don't think so. TJ,
let me know. Is it a dome?
I don't think
it is. I don't think
it is.
The Saints, Panthers, Falcons, that's a coin toss. All three of those teams, if they get hot, can play really well. I think the weakest team in that group is by far the Panthers because Cam Newton can't stay consistent at all.
Did you mention the Rams?
Have I got to the NFC West?
I don't know.
No, I haven't. The next team is the Rams. The Rams, I think, can surprise people, and they can put up numbers in a bunches.
Yep.
In a bunches. In a bunches.
In a Devon bunches.
I say he's an idiot.
They can put up numbers like crazy. Their defense is playing really well. I think that it comes down to, I honestly think with Foles leading the Eagles, and I hate to say this because we're on Wildfire Radio in Philly, and I think a lot of Eagles fans share this same concern is I don't know that he can handle the big pressure game. It's a fixed roof stadium, so technical terms, yes, it's a dome.
What the hell is a fixed roof stadium?
It's It's got a lid on it. It doesn't move. It's not like whatever. I think it comes down to the Rams and the Vikings this year in the NFC, and I'm taking the Vikings.
There's one other team in there that
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Super Bowl in Minnesota this year?
yeah.
So they'll be the first team if they make
yeah.
it to play in their own stadium during
Right.
the Super Bowl.
There's another team in there that you have to be careful with, and that's New Orleans.
Yes, because Drew Brees is amazing.
Well, and even more importantly, their defense is playing lights out.
I think literally they come down to is if Kamara stays healthy.
Yeah.
Because that dude
Yeah.
is such a
defense-
stronger Darren Sproles.
Defensively, it's been kind of a secret, but their defense is playing lights out. So you can't sleep on the Saints. So I'm going to add them to that list of the Rams and the Vikings as potential. And I'm going to take, for my big sleeper, I'm going to take the Saints to make the Super Bowl.
Nice. There you go. So
That's my sleeper.
That's your sleeper. I want a nap. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to ask you because Steve Mariucci was on NFL Network the other day, and they asked him a couple of questions about different teams and is Garoppolo the real deal, and they're asking a whole bunch of questions, and one that came up was it was right after they mentioned the Teddy Bridgewater coming on the field to that huge ovation. They asked who is going to be the Vikings starting quarterback to start 2018. And they told Mooch to give one-word answers. He has to give one-word answers. And, of course, he gave like 50-word answers because it's Steve Mariucci.
Right.
But let me ask you, who is going to be the Vikings starting quarterback week 1 of 2018?
I don't know.
Because right now they have Bradford and Bridgewater under contract. And they have
I think Bradford's gone.
And Case Keenum is a free agent this year.
Bradford's gone. They're not going to re-sign him. He's just way too fragile. And I think it comes down to Case Keenum or Bridgewater. Keenum's going to test the free agent market because he's had an audition that proves if he has a team around him, he can be a really good quarterback. I think by default it could be Bridgewater.
Mariucci, and I said it just as quick as he did when I was listening to the show, without hesitation. Before he even finished the question, Mariucci said, Case Keenum, 100%.
Really?
They think that they're going to break the bank on him to keep him there. Teddy Bridgewater will be the backup. I think what they're going to do is they're going to end up showcasing Bridgewater in the preseason to show that he's still healthy or that he's back and he can play, and then they're going to try to move him. And they're going to trade him out, and they're going to have a different backup.
Well, here's the other thing is you need to have a quality backup. Look at how many quarterbacks. I mean, out of the 32 NFL teams, how many quarterbacks played all 16 games? I would say it'd be less than half.
Right, but I don't.
And so you need that quality backup. And just think, if Hoyer gets hurt and you step up with Bridgewater, you're not. That's not a step backwards.
I think out of respect for Bridgewater being the way he got hurt, I think they're going to give him a chance to start somewhere else.
I don't
And
know.
James says, "Where's Alex Smith next year?" I think Alex Smith is back in Kansas City for one more year because I don't think that they're high enough on Mahomes or whatever the hell the other kid's name is. Because I think when they were struggling, they would have given him a shot. Even in a game where they were getting blown out, I think they would have given him a shot, and they didn't. So I think they let Smith come back in one more year.
Do you think Eli goes to
TJ and I are apparently on the same page.
where's was it Jacksonville that they were?
He's not going to Jacksonville.
He's not going to Jacksonville now.
I think Blake Bortles saved his job.
Right. Where do you think Manning ends up next year? Denver?
No, I don't think he wants to be in his brother's shadow.
Now that could be a place for Alex Smith if they give up on if the Chiefs give up on Alex Smith. That would be a pretty good place for him.
You know
to
where I
end
think
up.
Eli plays?
Where?
The Jets. I think he stays in New York, and plays for the Jets. Or what happens is ownership gets rid of everyone that's there, and they keep Eli and they rebuild around him because the owner thinks he can still win games.
I could see him staying there.
Stupid. I want to talk about vaginas.
We're going to go talk about vaginas. It's been an hour. Wildfire Radio, we love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Peace
Next
out.
week.
Night, Larry.